Hey everyone, Regan here from the Xero API team again. I'm here today with another episode in our Xero Automation Unleashed series. Today I'm going to be showing you Lutra. Lutra have just joined the Xero App Store, and they are an AI productivity tool focused on creating agents that can perform specific tasks for your business. So today we're going to create together an agent that is going to browse files in a Google Drive folder. Those files are going to be bills that we want put into our Xero account. Lutra is going to use the Google Drive API to pull the details of those files out, extract all the line items and the different details, and then they're going to use the Xero API and they're going to insert those bills and the details of those bills into our Xero account for us. You may be thinking there's several other products that do this already. This is just a taster. I want to show you what Lutra is capable of. There's so much more that you could possibly do with this tool. But hopefully at the end of this tutorial, you've seen how it works, you've seen how things connect, and you've seen how you can use it. And then the world is your oyster. You can do with it as you please. So together, we'll go and do this. I recommend you follow along. Lutra has a very generous 30-day trial, and you should take advantage of that. Go in, sign up, follow along with me. It's going to be super straightforward, super clear, and hopefully at the end of it, you'll be like, wow, there's so many little tasks that I've got lying around that this thing could hopefully automate for me. You can run things on a schedule once you've created them. You can have them run on a trigger. There's all sorts of possibilities. But anyway, rather than talking about it, let's show you what it's capable of. We'll get into it now. Here we are in Lutra. So it will seem like a fairly familiar interface to you if you've used any other AI chat product. There is a chat box that we can type into, but they have all these great examples of playbooks that already exist that they've made, and I highly recommend going and checking those out. There's some real nuggets of gold in there for you to discover. And even if you're just looking for inspiration, there's so many things that they've thought of and created already that can do amazing things. I'm not going to go through all of them, but please, in your own time, have a look. Like, you will be surprised at what this tool is capable of, is what I'll say. There's so many different integrations that they've already built out, and it's so exciting that they've already built Xero into it and that we can get started on this together. So I've already created a prompt that I'll just copy and paste in here. We're going to, number one, extract data from invoice PDFs in a Google Drive folder. We're going to get all the line items, the due dates, and the vendor information. We're going to create a new bill in Xero with that information, and we're going to create a playbook to process any new PDFs when they do arrive in that Google Drive folder. Let's click the send button, see what happens. It's going to do some thinking. So yeah, this is pretty different to what we've been looking at with Replit and Lovable. Replit and Lovable, because they're so focused on creating something that you can actually have running as a website or a piece of software, they take a very different approach. Lutra is really just writing simple scripts for you, and they've come back already. So this is very fast, right? Faster than what we've experienced with Replit and Lovable. So great, I can help you extract invoice data from PDFs and create bills in Xero. I need you to activate your Xero integration first. So I'm going to activate that. This is the other difference between Replit and Lovable and Lutra. Lutra, because they're a certified Xero app partner, they have an integration to us. You won't need to set up a custom connection like you had to do with Replit or Lovable, because they've gone through the steps to get certified with us and listed on the Xero App Store. They will connect directly to the API for us, and we'll step through those steps in a second. So great. Once you activate your Xero, I'll be able to access the Google Drive folder. I'll be able to extract structured data from each PDF. Fantastic. All the things that we want in order to put a bill into Xero. We're going to create bills in Xero using the extracted data. Fantastic. That's exactly what we want. And then it's going to build a playbook. So a playbook is something that runs over and over and over again, similar to like an American football playbook or a association football playbook, if you prefer that flavor. and it'll just run the same thing over and over again in a repeated fashion, right? And not like every single time. There's different methods that we can use to control that. We can do it as a scheduled task. We can do it on a trigger, all sorts of things, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. So great. Please activate the Xero integration and let me know the folder details so we can get started. I've told it that I've activated the Xero integration. What I'll do is I did prepare some invoices and bills earlier. So what I will do is I will just copy and paste the Google Drive folder here. And I'll say, and the folder is here. Great. Let's see what it does with that. Okay, it's having a think about that. Perfect. I can see the Google Drive folder link. However, I also need access to Google Drive to read the PDF files from that folder. That makes sense, right? When I signed up to Lutra, I signed up with my Google account. You don't have to do that. You can sign up with your email. Maybe you're not using Google, but you could use Google Drive. They also have other storage platform integrations. So if you're using like OneDrive or Box or something like that, you are likely to be able to follow along with this as well. You're just not doing Google Drive, you're doing that other platform. Great, so I've activated the Google Drive integration, access the folder, and retrieve the invoice PDFs. Yep. Once you activate Drive, we'll be able to start processing the invoices in that folder and setting up the complete workflow. Okay, great. I'll just say go ahead. I apologize for capitalizing Go, Lutra, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Okay, so we can see here that what it's done is it's created a little Python script that just disappeared on us. I think I can make it show up again. Oh yeah, there we go. I can click on this button here, and I can see the Python script that it's written to go and get these PDFs. So that's pretty cool. We'll close that. You might not be interested in code at all. You might just be interested in the output. But if you are, you can see it, which is pretty cool. Great. And it's saying it needs to connect to the Google APIs in order to do this. So I'll click on this button. It's taken me to a Google page where I need to log in with my Google account. I am, maybe in my own time, I'll just go and read their privacy policy in terms of service, as everybody should do when they're agreeing to these things. And I will just say continue. Lutra already has some access. That's a nice thing to notice, right? But yes, I trust Lutra's API. I've read their privacy policy and their terms of service, and I will select continue. Great, so it's gone and connected there. It's found the files. Awesome. Like, that was pretty quick, right? Like, didn't take much to get that working. It's getting all the line items and the due dates. So it's pretty cool. It shows you what it's thinking as it's going. There's no waiting with great fogginess of mystery happening. You're seeing what it's doing and how it's thinking about approaching things as it goes. Great, it found 5 invoice PDFs in the folder. What do we want to do next? Extract data from one PDF, and first to test the process. Process all 5 PDFs and extract their invoice data, or set up my Xero account connection first. I'm going to set up the Xero account connection. Why not? Let's dive into that bit. I love that it gives you 3 options. It's like giving you agency, right? You can pick what you want it to do. So it's writing some code that's going to go and access the Xero API. Looking at some different accounts. That's a really good thing for it to do. Okay, it's saying it wants to connect to Xero. Here's the different permissions that it needs access to, and it actually tells you why it's getting access to those different things. So that's really great. I love that it calls out those things. Let's click connect to Xero. That takes me to a familiar Xero page where you may have connected other apps before that would have looked exactly like this. I want to connect to my demo company. I've only got the demo company set up with this account. I am comfortable that Lutra has access to all of these things and has access to my name, email, and user profile. I'll click allow access. This will send me back to Lutra. Lutra's just setting up that Xero connection. And so if you followed along with our last two tutorials, there was a few extra steps there to get connected to Xero, where we had to go into developer.xero.com and set up some credentials. Because Lutra is a certified app partner and is listed on the Xero App Store, they're able to streamline and simplify that process. So all we needed to do was consent to them having access. They've got access now. They're looking at the accounts in our Xero account and seeing what is applicable for putting these bills in. It says, great, your Xero connection is set up with Demo Company NZ, and I can see you have 30 accounts available for creating bills, and all the different types of account that could be used for a bill. It's found 5 invoice PDFs in the Google Drive folder, and it's ready to process them. What are we going to do next? Okay, this is a little bit like choose your own adventure, eh? This is pretty cool. Extract data from one PDF first to test the extraction process. Process all 5 PDFs and extract the invoice data at once. Show me all the available Xero accounts first so I can choose which ones to use. I like that. Let's choose that. We're going to choose which accounts to use for these bills. All right, and we've got another decision point in our pick a path / choose your own adventure. I don't know, fighting fantasy. There were lots of those books back in my day. You kids are missing out not having those. Or maybe they still have them. There's probably some at the library. Might have to go and check it out with my young one. Perfect. We've got everything set up. Your Xero connection's ready, and you can see all 30 available accounts for creating bills. Now we've got 5 invoice PDFs ready to process. What's next? I'm feeling lucky. Let's process all 5 PDFs and extract invoice data from each one. I believe in you, Lutra. You can do it. The really cool thing here is, right, like if you were interested in learning how to write these scripts for yourself, you can look at exactly what Lutra's written and see how it's done. And yeah, you could potentially make a script that lived somewhere else that did this, but why would you? When you've got Lutra that can create all of this on the fly and manage all of it for you. It's amazing. And then they host it and run it for you as well. Okay, so it's just going through one by one, extracting this data from the different invoices. What's next? It's extracted the invoices successfully. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and they are all for different suppliers, and they're all for different amounts. I've chosen to make them all in New Zealand dollars to keep it simple. But yeah, we can. What's next? Are we going to create bills in Xero for all these 5 invoices? Are we going to create bills for just one invoice first to test the process? Or are we going to build the playbook now? Well, I think maybe we should test the process, right? So let's create bills for just one invoice and test the process. Perfect. We have the first invoice ready to go. Secure Parking Limited for 150 New Zealand dollars. That's monthly parking. I was going to say that was an expensive parking trip. Monthly parking makes far more sense. If you're getting monthly parking for $150, maybe you're doing well, depending on where you are. Use motor vehicle expenses account and create the bill in Xero. Let me choose a different account from the list, or show me the full invoice details. Is it a motor vehicle expense? Probably. Yeah. Let's go with that. Sounds good. I mean, you're not going to have parking if you don't have a motor vehicle, right? Could have parking for your horse and carriage. Probably going to need a stable for the horse. Maybe it's parking for the carriage. Stable for the horse. Need to keep the horse fed and watered, right? Now it's created the contact. It's created the invoice. That's pretty exciting. It says it successfully created the bill in Xero. And it's even giving us a list of things it's done and hasn't done. That's pretty cool. Okay, so excellent. It's successfully created the first bill in Xero. Let's just go into Xero and see if it's there, eh? We want bills to pay. Secure Parking Limited is there as a draft. Awesome. Fantastic. So that's worked. We'll go back to Lutra. Great, so it's created that invoice for us. We've got 3 options now. Do we want to create bills in Xero for the remaining 4 invoices? Do we want to build the playbook now so that we can automatically process PDFs in the future? Wow, I'm excited about that one. Or do we want to approve this draft bill and move it to authorized status? I'm going to say go ahead and create bills in Xero for the remaining 4 invoices first. And then we'll move on to building the playbook, I think. I want to review these bills in Xero myself as a human in the loop and make sure that everything's tickety-boo and correct before authorizing it for payment. So it's going to go ahead and create those bills for me now. Okay, it's come back and it's asking me, what expense account do you want to use for these 4 invoices? Do you want to use office expenses for all 4 of these? Do you want to choose the most appropriate specific account for each one? Cleaning, stationery and printing, entertainment, and consulting and accounting? Or let me choose specific accounts for each invoice type manually. So good that it gives you this flexibility, right? And optionality, because different scenarios will have different requirements, right? So I'm going to say use the most appropriate specific accounts automatically. I'm going to trust Lutra to figure that out. Seems pretty sensible to me so far. If I need to figure it out when I'm reviewing the invoice, the bills in my system afterwards, I can do that. And it's going away and it's making those choices for me. Thanks, Lutra. Oh, it's found an error and it's self-correcting. That's pretty cool. It didn't quite catch the error exactly. Let's see if we can. Okay, so the issue is the invoice vendor name might be none, but the method expects a string. I need to handle the case where the invoice vendor might be none or name might be none. Okay, and it's just going and figuring that out. So if that happened in one of our previous examples using Replit or Lovable, we would have had to have supplied the error message to the agent, and the agent would have had to have figured it out. The fact that Lutra's agent knows that there was an error and self-corrects, we are cooking now, right? Like, that is super powerful. And keeping it simple is so important, right? Because we're all busy people. We've all got a lot going on. The less we have to copy and paste, the better. Okay, successfully processed all 5 invoice PDFs and created bills in Xero for a total of that amount. Let's make sure that they are there. I should have 5 drafts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great, they're all there. They've got due dates, they've got amounts, we haven't paid anything on them. They're there. That's pretty exciting. Good job, Lutra. I'm happy with that. So what are we going to do next? Create the playbook so that I can automatically process new invoice PDFs as they arrive. Approve these draft bills to move them to authorized status in Xero, or review the bills in Xero to make sure everything looks correct. So I've already done that step. I'm not going to authorize them just yet. What I want to show you is the power of creating this as a playbook so that this can run over and over and over again. Okay, it has created a playbook plan for me, and it shares that with me, and I can approve it or continue editing it. So the playbook plan is to automatically extract data from invoice PDFs in our Google Drive folder and create bills in Xero. It's going to get the folder ID from the Drive folder URL. It's going to find all the PDF files in the Google Drive folder. It's going to extract the invoice data. For each invoice, it's going to automatically select the most appropriate Xero account based on the vendor type and the expense category. Like that. That's very good. Create vendor contacts in Xero if they don't already exist, and create bills in Xero using the extracted data and selected accounts. And then it's going to return a summary showing all processed invoices and created bills with total amounts. Super cool. I'm not going to edit that. I think that's pretty good. Highlights are configurable. Okay, so we could use a different folder if we wanted, or we can just use the same folder. I'm going to use the same folder. Let's say yes, go ahead and create this playbook, please. All right, and it's writing all the code to run this playbook. I love that they expose that part of it to folks. So you understand that under the hood, this is it's code that's being run on their platform that they're writing for you. Takes away a little bit of that mystery and black boxness of some of these things that run, right? You want some transparency. You want to be able to look into something and see why it's doing something, if it's doing something that you're not sure about. Look at that, some fireworks. That's awesome. It's like, congratulations, you set up this playbook. Playbook successfully created and ready to use. I can drop my Google Drive folder there. If I've got a different folder, I can click run. I can schedule this. So super cool that I can schedule it. You know, I can set it to run daily, weekly, monthly, whatever I want with the Google Drive folder. That is super cool. They've even thought about time zones. Let's run this one weekly on a Monday at 8 a.m. Fantastic. Love it. I can even share that playbook with other people. I like that. Yeah, and I can run it too. So that is pretty powerful, right? I don't know about you, but I love the ease of use of this. It was very straightforward, very simple. It guided me through all the difficult steps. It gave me options as I went through. I didn't have to do a whole lot of thinking. There wasn't a lot of back and forth about like, hey, you know, like this doesn't work, that doesn't work. It just made it happen. There are so many other integrations that are available in Lutra. Let's just quickly have a look at some of them, right? So look at this list of different integrations that they have. Like that is massive, right? Super, super cool that this exists. Super cool that it's so easy to set up. I would love to know what tasks in your business that you're using Lutra to automate now that you've seen this. Share with me in a comment below. I really want to hear success stories. I'm really keen to know how this is changing things for you. But I hope that this was valuable. I hope that you walk away from this going, jeepers, you know what? I really want to try this 30-day trial of Lutra. I will just call out, we did get pretty close to our daily limit of 15 messages. But if you upgrade to a paid plan, there is no message limit per day, and you can just crack away as much as you want. Yeah, so look, if you like what you're seeing, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you leave me a comment telling me that you enjoyed this and that you're feeling good about Lutra. I'm going to see you in the next one. Love having you here. Thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.